Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Discuss. It's a it's a somber day. It is 9/11, and um, I want to be careful not to make this a rant, but I just felt like I needed to discuss this today. Um, I think that the the term "never forget" is even more important today than it has been in many years. Um, we can never forget the passengers on those planes, the poor victims in those buildings in New York and in Alexandria in the Pentagon. We can never forget those first responders that sacrificed their lives to save so many from those buildings. And we can never forget those that still perish today from the um, from the the inhalation of toxic substances at the World Trade Center, for those wonderful and amazing men and women that gave their lives in the battles afterwards to get to those that were responsible for planning the 9/11 attacks, and for those incredible, incredible servicemen and women that suffer today with the wounds, both visible and invisible, that they brought home from those tragic um, encounters. Ladies and gentlemen, we can never forget. We can never forget because it will happen again. If we let our guard down, if we're not diligent, if we don't watch around us, the same people that have their hearts full of such incredible hatred and despise for us, if we don't watch out for them, if we don't guard ourselves from them, they will do it again. You hear me quite often in these videos talk about my belief in freedom, individual rights, um, the fact that we should all have the right to live our lives the way that we wish to live our lives. That's why these people hate us. They hate us because we aspire to freedom, because we aspire to live our lives by the Constitution of this country. And even though we have a current administration that wants to take those rights away from us, that on a daily basis through the IRS, through legal action, they try to tamper our our rights and our liberties through their um, what's the best way to put it? Through their ministry of truth, i.e., the press. They keep telling us stories, changing history, telling us that the border is secure when a logical, intelligent, observant person knows that we have millions of people that have entered our country unvetted. And for any one of us to think for a minute that the current administration did not allow people into this country that wish to do us harm, you're being foolish. You are being foolish and you are forgetting what happened on 9/11. We can never forget. And I will tell you right now, and this is going to come off partisan, but it's not. It's the facts. If something happens to U.S. citizens in our country by people that came across the border illegally and were allowed to come here by the Biden Harris administration, it is on their hands. The blood is on their hands because they allowed these people into the country unvetted, and they take no responsibility for it. As a matter of fact, again, through the ministry of truth, they downplay it. It's not a big deal. These are just people in need. And by the way, there are a lot of people in need. And there are a lot of people that need the sanctuary of the United States. People that are running away from, from the type of uh, totalitarian systems that wish to do us harm. They want to lead a free life, and they want to come here because they believe that they can have that life here. And I want them to be here. But you can't come here without being vetted. You can't come here illegally. You can't have your first action in the United States of America be to break the law. Ladies and gentlemen, never forget. Many of you have not forgotten. Many of you are diligent and want accountability from our government. You don't want these kind of things to happen again. But there are a whole lot of people out there that have joined the collective. They absolutely do not take personal responsibility. They don't think for themselves. They don't look at the facts. They just listen to the ministry of truth and think it's all going to be okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be okay. I realize this because I'm right there with you. Every day we get up and we're struggling just to survive because of the unbelievable increases in prices and the job market and all of the challenges that we have that have been dumped on us in the last 3.5 years. The challenges are great. And I know that just surviving today is is for many people all that they can take in and process. I mean, they just want to make it to tomorrow. Um, but, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot forget what happened on 9/11. And as hard as your life is, and for many of you, it's overwhelming, um, we can't forget. And we really can't forget when it comes November, when you vote. Because if you continue to allow our laws to be broken, our laws to be manipulated, if you continue to allow this, then you've asked for the pain that you are feeling now. Every day that you feel pain, know you can change it in November. Or you can continue the pain by allowing the current administration to continue, by allowing the same congressmen and senators that have allowed this to happen. And by the way, this is not just one party. There are people in both parties. There are people in both parties that actually care about this country. But there's a whole lot of people in both parties that are just looking to maintain power, and they could care less how hard your day is. They could care less about your kids going hungry and your fear about how you're going to pay your rent or mortgage at the beginning of next month. They could care less because they just want power. As a matter of fact, you hear some of these senators on these talk shows talking about how people like me are the bad people because I call them out on their hypocrisy, because I call them out on the fact that they don't care about the people. Never forget, never forget that we were attacked for our freedom. Now we're being attacked by our own government for our freedom. If you don't vote to change that, shame on you. Shame on you for wanting to continue down this path of totalitarianism, for giving away your freedom. Actually, I'm paraphrasing, and I think I've said this before in a previous video, but Benjamin Franklin once said, and again, paraphrasing, those that would give up their liberty and freedom for safety deserve none of it. If you think you're getting safety by having the government give you money and dictate how you live your life, you're giving up everything, everything that those people on 9/11 sacrificed for. You're giving up everything that we have fought for over 240 years. You're giving it up. And truthfully, if you want to live in a country where people tell you how to walk, sleep, talk, who you can love, where you can work, what you can do, when you can do it, there are a lot of countries out there that you can move to. But don't take away my freedom. Don't take away my rights. Don't take away the future for my children. In November, vote and vote to restore freedom to this country. Do not let the Marxists continue their takeover. Never forget.